we go. All right. Please, guys, let me know if you can hear me okay. Why is it doing that? Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. You guys can hear me okay? Okay. Hey, Zach. How is everybody doing? How is everyone doing? Wait, why is it not working on Instagram? Oh, there it is. Okay. It's like got a super hard lag. Okay, cool. All right. So, oh, hey, Mohammed from Al Mawasi Healthcare. Yeah, of course I remember you. I just shared one of your videos today on Instagram. Of course I remember you. Hi, Bader. Hey, everybody. How is everybody doing? Where are you coming from? Great. I know that somebody's going to make a comment about my face looking greasy. Let me see if I can. Is that working? Well, part of it is the ring light. Good enough. Seattle, Washington, Costa Rica. Nice. Bosnia. Hey. Italy, Istanbul. That's so cool. That's really cool. Sydney, Mexico, California. Hey. That's really cool. Oh, Trap, you're in Maryland? I didn't know that's where you live. For some reason, I thought you lived in like Washington, D.C. I guess it's really close to Maryland. Thanks, Theater of the Absurd. I need to turn the fan on. It's hot. How many of you guys watched the debate the other night? Who watched it? Because that's going to be one of the things we're going to probably get to if we have time. But obviously, I want to share. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I keep trying to be faster about this, but as I've said to you before, as I've said to you guys before, because of the fact that I stream on the same computer that I like share things, like I don't have two monitors, so when I share something, it takes me a second to like get it. Yeah, DS Smith, it's actually really embarrassing because it was a lot of like BS and a lot of lies, and the right wing kept crying that the moderators weren't like shilling for Trump, basically. And basically it was a debate between like a ridiculous clown liar and Kamala Harris, who did a really good job when it comes to her performance. But on substance, on like policy, I felt like I was listening to a Republican. Like, honestly, if you listen to some of the things that Kamala Harris said in her proposals, it sounded like George W. or George Bush Sr. which is a problem because this country is moving further and further to the right. Like overall, it's moving further and further to the right. Like, tell me why she was touting her endorsement from Dick Cheney. Okay? Like, that's not the kind of thing that if you care at all about your left flank, which they don't, the Democrats hate the left, but if they did, you wouldn't be bragging about the fact that you got the endorsement of one of the main architects of a never-ending 2-decade war that bankrupted the country, killed millions of people in the Middle East and a ton of service members in the United States, and created the surveillance state that we now live with. And you're like excited about that endorsement? No, you guys, this is the problem. We live in a country that never holds anybody accountable that is powerful. Okay? We live in a country where the so-called accountability is always there for some, like, ew, I hear mice in my walls. Don't even get me started on the fucking mouse problem that I have. I can hear them in my walls. They're in my walls right now. They're trying to get in through the kitchen, and they have gotten in through the kitchen because our building sucks and won't fix the problem. Anyway, I guess it's just something I've got to accept as being as a New Yorker. Anyway, though, what was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. But oh, that's what it is. One of the things that I wanted to point out, and this like has to do with 9/11, is that we never are going to ever learn anything because we don't learn the lessons of the past, and the people that were actually the architects of those things were never held accountable. We love to like hold like poor people accountable and like people without power accountable. But somebody who caused so much damage to this country and his cronies, none of them got held accountable. Oh, yeah, Zaid. He said he didn't want to do another debate because he won. And because he won, he doesn't want to go back. Yeah, Pony Bilad Adventures. The bar for president is really low now, which really should make us question our society overall. And neither party is doing that. I don't see liberals doing it because they love Kamala. And I don't see the right wing doing it, of course, because they're in a cult. But like, we really should ask some questions about the health of our society that someone like Trump is even able to run for office. And that those are only choices. Choices. Yeah, exactly. Kalash Mirage, he did bail out Wall Street and all the homeowners got screwed and no one ever was held accountable for the housing crisis. No one ever gets held accountable for like major things that actually changed the course of history and the standard of living in this country. No one's ever held accountable for that. No, instead, they want to blame it on immigrants. And they continue to lie about it. Which, by the way, we're not getting into that story, but aside from the fact that the whole thing is a lie and they totally made it up like out of whole cloth about the Haitian immigrants coming to Ohio, is that they keep saying that those were people that came over the southern border. That is not true. Those Haitian immigrants that were in Ohio came on work visas, came through temp agencies because they were looking for work, and the companies that were in that Ohio town of Springfield were looking for employees that they could rip off and not pay a lot of money. So, like, it's just made up. The 2000 election, oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah, exactly, Theater of the Absurd. The 2000 election actually was stolen with the help of our garbage Supreme Court, and there was never any accountability for that. That's why we are where we are. That's why we are where we are. Because the major historic things that happen in this country, major events like the housing crisis, like 9/11, like the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, like the stolen election in 2000 from Al Gore, none of those wealthy people were ever held accountable. And honestly, sometimes I think that that's the reason why we do have such a problem with like cancel culture in this country. I know that a lot of people on the left don't think cancel culture exists. It does. And we have a problem with mob mentality, especially on the internet and places like TikTok and Instagram and influencers and stuff. And I think that part of the reason for that is we live in a culture of where tenets of white supremacy are regularly held up and punishment is a like major tenet of white supremacy. So that's part of it. But another part of it is I think that people feel so powerless in their lives that to try to go after someone and watch them suffer and mob them and make sure they lose their job or whatever, that is the only way that Americans oftentimes feel that they have any power to hold anybody accountable, because the wealthy don't get held accountable. The powerful don't get held accountable. Do I think that Tim Walz will have any positive influence on Kamala Harris? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. Domestically, I don't think that he will probably have much effect on her when it comes to foreign policy and when it comes to Gaza. But I think domestically, if we're talking about domestic policy, then absolutely. Because I need people to be rational and sane about this, okay? Because I feel like every time I make a comment, like this happens a lot, okay? So I need you guys to like be rational about this. Just because I I do political analysis on something I think the campaign is doing good, doesn't mean that I'm praising the Democrats or fawning all over the Democrats, because that happens a lot. I'll make like a video where I'll be doing political analysis and talking about how politically, substantively, and policy-wise, this was a good strategic decision for Kamala Harris's campaign to make. And then I'll get a bunch of comments like, why do you love Kamala so much? What are you coconut pilled now? It's like, everybody calm down. It's a political analysis. And yes, I think factually it is, well, not factually is not the right word, but I think politically it was a much better decision for her to pick Tim Walz. And I think he will have a better impact on her in domestic policy than, let's say, Josh Shapiro would, who is not only a lunatic Zionist that just insulted Palestinians again the other night at the debate, but is also a corporatist. Wait, somebody said, name a policy that changed. Name a policy that changed with peaceful protests in the last 2 decades. That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Can any of us answer that? Yeah, I got. What was the last president that didn't support Israel? Milo, yeah, that's a good point. We haven't had one. We haven't had one in a really long time, like even before Nixon, which is when it really started to ramp up. And, I was having a conversation with somebody, one of my mutuals. I don't know if you're in the chat. I don't want to out your name if you're not comfortable talking or knowing, but you know who you are. And I was talking to you today. He is from Gaza. He is living in Gaza, currently going through the genocide. And I was asking him his opinion. Who would you vote for if you were me? What should I do? I'm struggling. I feel conflicted. And one of the things that he said was, it's not an overnight thing to just change policy when it comes to Gaza, because many of us Americans have only just woken up to what's been happening in Gaza for the last 76 years. But he's like, but he hasn't, but he hasn't. He's known it. And he's like, it's been like this for decades. The United States has been the Israeli regime's ally for decades. And that's not something that is just going to change overnight. It's something that, for those of us who care about it, we have to be seriously committed to over the long haul. Like, we have to be seriously committed to BDS and to changing the narrative and to start to make it politically toxic for them to just stand in lockstep like them. And that, I think, is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. Doesn't matter who sits in the House. Well, if you're talking about the House of Representatives, that absolutely does matter. Yeah, that's why it really pisses me off when people are like, oh, it doesn't matter to vote down ballot. Yeah, it does. And if it didn't matter, then AIPAC wouldn't spend tens of millions of dollars in order to unseat one of the only 3 pro-Gaza people, pro-Palestine people in the House. Oh, someone made the point about, I was asked about what changes were made during, with a peaceful protest. And somebody said the George Floyd Black Lives Matter, and it was with Trump, not great changes, but changes. Well, I wouldn't say that it was with Trump. It technically was with Biden. It was with Biden. And there were some reforms that came out of that, but obviously not enough. Yeah. I see you, the person I was talking about that I just said I was talking to that was in Gaza, that I was discussing who I should vote for and what we should do. I see you, friend. But I didn't want to say your name. I didn't want to like out you and like, in case some, leftist decides that they know what's better for Gaza than you do and starts like attacking you in my chat. So anyway, a lot of people are telling me to vote for Jill Stein. I'm still not convinced, guys. I'm not saying that I've made up my mind for sure, but I'm still not convinced. I find the Green Party thoroughly unimpressive as a party. That's not throwing shade at people like Jason, who's her campaign manager that I talked to and had a really good conversation with. And I liked him. And I'm sure that there are great people that are activists within the Green Party. I think that the person she picked for her VP had some really interesting and good things to say. But as a party, they need some serious reform. I feel like they need to rebrand completely. Change your name. Change it. Because honestly, let's just talk about optics for a second in politics. When I hear Green Party, and so do a lot of people, I hear useless. Like useless. Like you guys don't do anything. I know. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so not true. We've had 1,400 candidates win down ballot over like a 40-year period. Like, please, you guys. I'm not saying don't cry. I'm not saying that means that like they have to be, totally dismantled. But I think that they need a rebrand and there needs to be some accountability. And it can't just be blaming the Democrats. Because the Green Party, every time you tell them to take accountability for how like shitty they are, they'll be like, it's the Democrats that always stop us from getting on ballots and do this and do that. And it's like, look, I'm not even disagreeing with that. The Democrats have done so much fuckery to the Green Party because they have an interest in keeping the duopoly the way it is, of course. But you also have to take some responsibility for the fact that you guys have not done a good job of recruiting people into your party and making people actually want to join the Green Party in their local chapters or vote for it. Not to mention the marketing is trash. Trash. And marketing matters. Marketing matters when it comes to politics. I know that some of you don't want to acknowledge that, but it does because people vote on vibes. People vote on vibes. I vote on policy. Most people do not vote that way. And we have to think about what most people do. Most people just vote on who they like personally. Tell me I'm wrong. Again, somebody, one of the Jill Stein people always coming in, you guys have like the same talking points. It's like, oh, well, it's because we're up against the duopoly. Yeah, I understand that. That's not an excuse for the fact that there isn't even a coherent local chapter in New York City. Like, there needs to be less excuse making and more like strategizing. Yeah, the Green Party's organizing and their marketing, somebody said, is antiquated and ugly. It's true. And I'm sorry, it's super like outdated and like white. Like it's all of their marketing and the way that their social medias are set up. It's all targeted in this very like 90s way of like a white environmentalist activist who listens to NPR. And again, I'm not saying this to be, I feel like a lot of you, because again, a lot of you are so in your feelings. You're so in your feelings about the Green Party that you can't stop to just listen to like a critique and try to think about how to make it better. You'll just like start yelling at me about how, whatever, I'm a Democrat shill and I'm not listening to the fact that they have a hard time going up against the third parties. It's like, I hear your arguments. I talk to Green Party members and people who are going to vote Green all the time. I voted Green in 2016. But there needs to be some like honest reflection in strategy about how to make a party like the Green Party or a third party better if you are interested in recruiting young people, people of color, just a broader coalition. Like the Democratic Socialists are much better at it. If you look at the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, all their marketing, their social media presence, their organizing, the way that they create all these different working groups that they recruit people into, it is so much better. And yes, Pony Ballad, you said ranked choice voting. Yes, absolutely. Those are all things that need to change, like ASAP, like people should be working on. Ranked choice voting, getting rid of the Electoral College, whether that's trying to do it through a constitutional amendment, which is going to be very hard, or through things like the popular vote initiative, ending the filibuster. Yeah, those are all things that people who care about a third party should be working on right now. Right now. Not later. Not later. They need to be being worked on right now. And here's my problem with you guys that are voting Green. Okay? And trigger warning if you don't like being told things that you don't want to hear. The thing about the Green Party, that's also people who are voting for the Green Party that is making me lose my mind, is that you guys will make fun of liberals to the fucking cows come home because we're not going to get a savior. Kamala's not going to save you. And then you turn around and you act exactly like the liberals, acting like Jill Stein and the Green Party is going to save you. She's not going to save you. And if you're trying to absolve your conscience by voting for her because of the genocide, you're not, because she's not going to win. And you're still a taxpayer. And as long as you're still paying your taxes, you are paying for those bombs that are being dropped on children in Gaza. So I'm just saying, don't act like you're better than people because you're quote unquote being an anti-genocide voter when you are still supporting the genocide with your tax dollars. And you are acting just like Blue MAGA when you say things like, oh, well, politicians can't save us, but we have to vote for Jill Stein. We have to vote for Jill Stein in the Green Party as if she's going to save us. No, here's what I'm saying is this. First of all, stop being a hypocrite. Second of all, there is no politician or election that is going to save us. This work about building up third parties, whether or not that's reforming the Green Party, whether or not that's reforming or creating more for the Socialist Democratic Party of America, whether it's creating a full new party, whether it's doing ranked choice voting, the popular mandate initiative, trying to get a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics or to get ranked choice voting or to abolish the Electoral College. All of these things are things that are going to take work that we all need to be doing now, not just on election day, today and after the election as well. Oh, thanks for becoming a member, Mohammed. Da na 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 na. Okay, Val wrote on Instagram, girl, bye. You're so wrong. It's not even about morality. It's about sending a message at this point. Yeah, bye. Bye. I hope you unfollow me. You are insufferable. If you think that, first of all, you can't, that person who said that, they're in my Instagram chat, somebody named Val Knows It All, doesn't know shit. Val Knows It All doesn't know shit. And this person who's in my chat being all, girl, bye, because they don't like hearing an opinion that they don't like hearing pushback on their fave, that person literally proved that they are blue MAGA. Thank you, green MAGA. You're literally just proving my point that you are an insufferable simp to power that thinks that you are just going to get everything you want and the genocide in Gaza is going to end and everything's going to be great and you're moral because you're going to vote third party because you're going to send a message. Okay, well, I'm going to need you, whoever probably already left the chat and is there, tell me this. Since you're so moral and you're here to tell me that you're going to be sending a message, I really hope that you stop paying your taxes and that you're standing on fucking business, okay? I need you to do that. I need you to put your money where your fucking mouth is and stop paying your taxes because it's your taxes that are going to kill those kids. Don't come in here on your fucking high horse and think that you're just going to be like, girl, bye. I'm voting to send a message. You are no better than anyone. You are no better than the blue MAGA that you criticize. You're no better than red MAGA who's going to vote for Trump. You are simply a narcissist who thinks that a politician is going to save you. And that if you talk down to people and cry and say, girl, bye, because you're mad that I criticized your new daddy, your new mommy. No, girl, bye to you. Bye. Get out of my chat. Get off of my page. Unfollow me. Those people are the worst people, and I do not want them in my community. Please buy exit.net and don't let the door hit you on your closed-minded ass on the way out. Because I have absolutely no interest in those people. Absolutely no interest. The people that love my content when I'm saying that they want what they want to hear, and then they're telling me how to think, what I should say, that I can't criticize their fave. No. Ryan, why are you so mad? Because what that person said was ridiculous. Am I not allowed to have emotion? By the way, thank you, Mohammed, for becoming a member. I love you, Mohammed. Oh, hey, Fuwa-chan. Thanks for the super chat. How are you doing? How are you doing? And here's the thing. Let me make something else clear while I'm mad. And it's okay to be mad, guys. I think it's fine to be mad as long as you're not being a psycho or like disrespecting anyone. I did not disrespect that person. I did not call them names I guess I kind of called them names, but I wasn't like calling them stupid or anything. What I'm saying is the thing is that it's okay to vote for who you want to vote for. If you want to vote for Jill Stein and you want to vote for third party, fine, that's okay. But stop acting like you're better than people and yelling at people. It doesn't work. It's not a good political strategy. And also that person that I hope unfollowed me and left my chat was the type of person that I don't even want to fuck with because they don't listen. They're not there to listen and they're not there to have a conversation. They're there to have their worldview reaffirmed. And honestly, those are the worst people. Those are the worst people, the people that are just in your like community or watching your content or following your content because they want their worldview to be affirmed. I have absolutely no interest in just tap dancing for somebody and saying what they want to hear. That ain't me. Well, yeah, Crimson, but I definitely was not being cruel. Maybe a little aggressive, but I was not being cruel. Anyway, I still haven't decided who I'm going to vote for yet. I go back and forth and I get frustrated. But honestly, what I'm doing right now, if you guys want me to answer your question, is I am trying to get the perspective and listen to people who are in Gaza. In Gaza, people who are in Gaza right now, suffering through the genocide. I have been asking the people that I know there, the people that I form relationships with, that I am friends with now, I've been asking them what they think I should do. Because I do care about what they think, and I care about how they think that this election is going to affect them, and it is going to help inform my decision. Obviously, we know that both of our presidential candidates are, AIPAC shills. We know that both of them are going to do whatever the Israeli regime wants. We know that. It's a matter of trying to figure out what is the most effective strategy and what is it. I'm listening to Arab and Muslim people. What is it that they're saying? Because their opinion right now is really what I'm listening to and what matters. Trump is going to give Israel stolen land. Damn near, you already said it. Yeah, what you're referring to, Ryan, is that he has promised one of his biggest, Israeli donors, Miriam Adelson, that if he wins, he will allow her to fully annex the rest of the occupied West Bank. Fully. Yeah. Anyway, you know what's annoying? They don't allow live chat in Twitter. All right, so anyway, let's go over this clip. I'm going to talk about how they're banning Keffiyehs on college campuses, but first we're going to make fun of this insanely embarrassing clip by this Zionist lunatic. Where is it? Let me know when it plays that you guys can hear it.
Fight anti-Semitism. I am here in Times Square. Behind me, you can see a giant billboard screaming, "Stop funding Israel." You probably recognize these bright colors from the Jew Belong ads. You know, the ads that promote joyous Judaism and fight anti-Semitism. But there is nothing joyous, peaceful, or loving about this ad campaign. This is an ad campaign that promotes hate, that twists the truth, and that demonizes Israel. Now, let me tell you who is behind this disgusting ad campaign. It is an organization called the Unity Lab, whose members are heavily involved in pro-Palestinian activism, fundraising for organizations like UNRWA, the organization whose members actually participated in the October 7th massacre and has been caught funneling aid to Hamas.
To Hamas. Okay, let me pause for a second just to debunk that lie. That's a lie. That was already debunked. That is a lie. There was not members of UNRWA participating in October 7th. They whole cloth made that up because they wanted to defund UNRWA. Why? Because they wanted to starve the Palestinians. That's why. Like, this is not a thing. She's making it up. But I also like how to her, just humanizing the Palestinians and doing activism to try to help them is so unacceptable to her. She can't believe it. Like, the way she says it is so deranged.
The organization whose members actually participate in an ad campaign that promotes hate, that twists the truth, and that demonizes Israel. Now, let me tell you who is behind this disgusting ad campaign. It is an organization called the Unity Lab, whose members are heavily involved in pro-Palestinian activism, fundraising for organizations like UNRWA.
I love that. Now, let me tell you who's behind this disgusting organization. It's an organization that helps fundraise for Palestinian causes. What's the problem? What's the problem? Sign me up. Sign me up. I want to be a part of this organization. Sounds based. What's the problem, Donna? Like, how embarrassing. I like how they make, and I like how they make it all scary. I like how they make it all scary. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they already debunked the lies about UNRWA, but also if this ad is so ridiculous, you know what I should do? I should go to Times Square and recreate this ad. Redo my own version of this ad. I just love how dramatic they are. Like how dramatic they are when what I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying it right. What I'm trying to say is, I love the idea that they'll say something that is so not offensive or controversial at all. And then they'll be like, can you believe it? This disgusting ad demonizing the Israeli regime. First of all, you guys demonize Palestinians literally all day, every day. Literally. You guys literally demonize Palestinians morning, noon, and night, all day, every day. So that's number one. Number two. What is wrong with my comments in my software? It's not loading. Yeah, that's number one. Also, wait, Khalid Malai, also trying to figure out who to vote for, waiting to see what comes out of the Arab American Convention this week in Detroit that will discuss voting strategy. Khalid, thank you for bringing that up. That is a great point. That is something else that I have been watching for as well, because of the fact that I am really wanting to see what Arab Americans and Muslim Americans throughout the diaspora, but also especially in Gaza, the people that I mentioned earlier, I've been talking to in Gaza, what they think would be the best decision. But I have also been watching for that. I want to see what Rashida Tlaib says. I want to see what comes out of the Arab American and Muslim Convention to see what they say, because they know better than any of us. And as a person who is white, I feel like listening to the voices that are coming out of these Arab American organizations, these Muslim organizations that are having these conventions and these conversations, I will never know I could never have more of an insight into what is happening and what would be best for their community than they could. And I'm not going to be one of these like white savior people that tries to tell an Arab American or a Muslim American or a Palestinian living in Gaza or anywhere what they should think. So yes, thanks for bringing that up. And I'm definitely going to be watching for that as well. And it will definitely inform my opinion. So yeah, again, thanks for bringing that up. Let's get back to this video of this absolute clown who looks like she just got a blowout. Yeah, my comments are not. O'Day! O'Day is here. O'Day. We as Palestinians think it doesn't matter if Democrats or Republicans win, the policy toward us is the same. Yeah, that's something that I have also heard. I have heard that too. Although I heard this morning, who, again, I don't want to say his name because he hasn't identified himself in chat, so I don't want to like out him, but I did talk to somebody who is living in the Gaza Strip right now, who is in the genocide, who said that he thinks that voting for Kamala Harris would be better than voting for Trump, and that people who he's talking to think that. But again, I know you guys are not a monolith. You're not a monolith. Like, obviously, O'Day lives in the occupied West Bank, and that's, you know, that's what he feels and what people he knows feel. So That's why, again, like I said, you guys, I'm going to be listening to a lot of people, specifically Arab American and Muslim American organizations that are speaking on this, that are coming out and making statements. They're having a convention in Michigan this week. They're going to be making a statement afterwards, listening to the uncommitted movement and listening to Palestinians in Gaza, in the occupied West Bank, and also just throughout the diaspora, because I think that their opinion on this matters more than anyone else's. So I want to listen. I want to listen and see what they have to say before I make my decision. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why my comments are not working in, like, what? Okay. I don't. There. Wait. No. I thought it got fixed. It didn't get fixed. Okay. People who are in YouTube chat, can you see comments? Sorry, guys, about the troubleshooting. Hold on. Oh my gosh. This is very annoying. I'm complaining to the I'm complaining to the people over at StreamYard after. Hold on, let me try to refresh it. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try to refresh it. Okay, that seems to have worked, but we'll see. Yeah. I want to get back to the video. I just need to updo. Yeah, regarding, we're going to get back to the video. I don't know. Oh, that's another good point somebody pointed out about the election, is that if you are an American who is voting in this election, you need to find out what is on your state ballot. There are ballot initiatives. There are ballot initiatives all over the country on everybody's ballot in different states. And you need to find out what's on your ballot so you make sure you're making an informed decision when you vote. Someone wrote, Zionist Redditors hate your guts, Blakely. Oh, good. Oh, no. I'm devastated. If they didn't hate me, I'd be thinking I'd be doing something wrong at this point. Loco Rocka, who just said on my Instagram, ironic that you're whining about people not voting, but you're admonishing people voting for third parties. Except for the fact that I didn't admonish someone for voting third party. So why are you lying? Loco Rocca 7. Why are you lying on me? I didn't admonish anybody for voting for third party. This is what I'm talking about. Actual brain rot. Actual melted brain rot. You didn't listen to a word I said. I literally said, vote for who you want to vote for. Vote for Jill Stein if you want to vote for Jill Stein. I still might vote for Jill Stein. I might vote for her still. But oh my gosh, you green MAGA Jill Stein simps are insufferable. 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 I need you to stop lying. I never admonished anybody for saying that they were going to vote for Jill Stein. I never told anybody not to vote for Jill Stein. Stop lying. I can't. This keeps happening with Jill Stein supporters where they just keep lying. They keep saying if I say something like, guys, you need to work on the campaign and marketing and whatever, and trying to like appeal to people with the Green Party. And they're like, oh, well, you're simping for Kamala. You're scolding people voting third party. No. Again, that person that said that on my Instagram chat was lying. I never once scolded somebody for voting third party. Not once. I never once scolded anybody for voting for Jill Stein. I said, if you want to vote for Jill Stein, you do you. I understand. And I still might vote for her. But you coming in and lying and saying, oh, you're admonishing people. Go lie somewhere else. Go lie somewhere else. I don't have time for you fools. You know who's not insufferable? Your adorable dog in the background. Isn't he, though? Why do you guys keep trying to tone police me? Someone wrote, why are you yelling? I just love that. I just love that. They always are like trying to tone police me. Stop trying to tone police me. I'm allowed to yell. DW Doctor said my mom called me an anti-Semite for not supporting. Wow. Wow. No, that's really funny. Nah, Nomad Nasita. This is the issue. So many people internalize what people say about themselves. Yeah, it's also like people not actually listening to what you say and just saying what they think you said or what they want to argue against or what they want to hear. It's really bizarre. People don't actually listen to listen. They listen to respond. It's wild. Yeah, I know. So much of the left, unfortunately, as somebody who would, if I fit anywhere, I definitely lean more to the left. But man, some people on the left are just so toxic. So toxic. It's really unbearable. Like, that's another conversation that I feel like people need to eventually have. I don't know when we're going to have it, when people are going to be ready to have it. But like the reason why a lot of people don't want to join the left is because people on the left are really insufferable and mean and judgmental, and people don't like you. People don't like us. Yeah, exactly, Brenda. People do project, and that's what I get every single time I talk about the Kamala Harris, Jill Stein thing. I get mad projection on both sides of it. I get projected on from Kamala Harris, coconut pilled, blue MAGA people telling me that I don't care about marginalized folks in this country, that I want Trump to win, blah, 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 blah. And then from the left, the green MAGA side, the Jill Stein people, they all yell, why are you telling us not to vote third party? Why are you scolding us? Which I never said and I never did. It's really exhausting. People just project. Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry then, Naimit. Document the genocide. Thank you, Blakely. I don't know what you're thanking me for. However, I will take it. And look, I know some people get mad that I yell, but it's like, I'm a passionate person and I care about the truth. And that's the thing. A lot of people will, like, I guess, like, follow me thinking that, like, I'm going to say everything they want me to say all the time. And I'm not. I say all the time on my page, whether it's on here, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on TikTok, I say all the time, if you are someone who only wants your preconceived biases confirmed, you want to be in a bubble where I only pander to what you believe, then you are in the wrong place. Like, that is not the kind of content I make. I care about the truth. And sometimes the truth conflicts with your pre-existing biases. Also had a debate with a friend yesterday that anti-Semitism is not anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Yeah, it's insane that anybody would believe that. Like at this point. Because you just said the thing about Jeremy Corbyn. I wrote this on Twitter yesterday that I'm so embarrassed that I used to believe that smear. Like, embarrassing. Embarrassing. Like, I fully believed it. Before I knew anything about what was really going on in Gaza. So I used to think that the ADL was credible. Lamau. Honestly, I think that you are the realest person. Thank you, O'Day. That's so kind. That is such a nice thing for you to say. And you actually live in Palestine. So I'm going to take your word over some white leftist living in fucking California. And again, that's not to throw all my leftists under the bus, okay? I love you guys, but also you drive me crazy. I love the left, but they drive me insane. Literally. I also hate them sometimes and it just drives me crazy. But O'Day, that was such a kind thing for you to say. Thank you. Yeah, I know. The whole thing. I am so done with the anti-Semitic routine. I am so done with that. I get called anti-Semitic 100 times a day, every single day. Every single day. That's why somebody wrote earlier in chat that Zionist Reddit hates me. And I'm like, good. Thank you for always speaking your mind much needed today. Thank you, Linda. Hey, you are very funny, especially when you Thank you, Ahmed. I know, because they're so embarrassing the way they say it, I can't help but make fun of them. They're clowns. Hamas. Like, speaking of clowns, let's get back to this video. You guys, would you want me, because I'm not going to do it unless you want me to. How would you guys feel if I went to I've never learned if Nomad said the biggest lesson I've learned is never to be 100% about anything. Exactly. That is true. A lesson I learned was that it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. Because I'm sure, as you guys can see, I have a very strong personality. I'm a very opinionated person. And when I was a kid, from as young as I can remember and growing up, I never liked admitting I was wrong. I love fighting with people, arguing with people. And I used to think when I was growing up that being right was more important than anything else. And a huge lesson I learned was that, actually, it's okay to be wrong. And you should want to learn and you should want to be corrected. Because if you think you know everything, you're probably not very intelligent. Yeah, Dagger. Yeah, obviously. I don't mean being passionate in your wrongness. I mean being wrong and realizing that you are wrong. I now say that there's a lot I don't know There is a lot I don't know, because you can't, if you think you know everything, you can never grow. Like, you can never grow, because what do you need to grow for? You already know everything. Like, you have to know that what you don't know so that you can grow as a person. When I first learned the truth about Gaza, like, I had a moment where I realized that, like, everything I believed about the Israeli regime in Gaza was wrong. And, like, that was a moment. Like, I had to be like, wait a second, everything I thought I knew about the Israeli regime, about why it was created, about what it does, why it's there, why October 7th happened, all of it, I had to, like, realize was absolutely wrong and start over from scratch. Oh yeah. Don't forget, guys, to if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe. That doesn't cost anything. You can become a member, or you can send a super chat, but just subscribing to the channel doesn't cost anything. Nameet Main, you want my lip gloss? Oh, you know what it is? I actually really like this lip gloss. I think I got it for free, like in a package for Christmas. It's Clinique Moisture Hydra Plump. Thanks, Saul. Okay, I keep getting distracted, you guys, and I really want to make fun of this video. Okay, so let's make fun of this video. You guys tell me, okay? Tell me in chat whether you are watching on X, or whether you're watching on Instagram, or whether you're watching on YouTube. Tell me, Martin Streetlight said, I first saw you when you took the elder. Oh, thank you. You know what, Martin, what's annoying is that I stopped making videos about him because they kept reporting them. Like, his like dork followers kept mass reporting my videos about him. Also, I felt like it was kind of a waste of time because, as we all know, if you are even remotely on the left, Republicans don't care about the truth at all. Like, not even a little. Not even a little. They don't care that they're hypocrites. They don't care. They don't care. So, like, arguing with them is useless. Yeah. So anyway, let me know, guys, because I'm not going to bother doing it if you don't want me to. But let me know if you want me to, recreate this embarrassing video, because I will. Don't tempt me. I will go to Times Square and recreate this insanely embarrassing video. First of all, let's make fun of the fact that the music, why is the music's all dramatic and scary? Like, this is what's insane about Zionists, is that they'll take something as obvious as, like, Palestinians should have human rights, and they make it scary. Like, can you believe that this radical organization is fundraising for Palestinians? Can you believe that this radical hate group of Palestinians is organizing to donate money to their starving children? Dun, dun, dun. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. All right, let's restart it. I have to restart it now. Also, I like how overly dressed and, like, her hair is done for the occasion. Like, she looks like she just got a blowout. Also, I want to know who this based organization is. I'm going to look into them. We should support them.
The organization whose members actually participated in the Times. I am here in Times Square. Behind me, you can see a giant billboard screaming, "Stop funding Israel." You probably recognize these bright colors from the Jew Belong ads. You know, the ads that promote joyous Judaism and fight anti-Semitism.
Joyous Judaism. Joyous Judaism.
But there is nothing joyous, peaceful, or loving about this ad campaign.
There's nothing joyous, peaceful, or loving about this ad campaign. Actually, it is loving because it's showing people the truth. Actually. Also, the truth isn't always joyous. It is a fact that our money is funding the bombs being dropped on Gaza. Their billboard is simply bringing awareness to that fact. I can't with their gaslighting, you guys. Like, their gaslighting is so next level. It really is so next level. Up is down, down is up. They do like jujitsu fuckery. Like, this is not joyous. Us talking about fighting anti-Semitism, but actually we're just lying about Palestinians and dehumanizing them. And we keep using atrocities that happen to Jewish people historically in order to dehumanize and commit atrocities against the Palestinians. And don't say anything about it or else we'll call you anti-Semitic. Like Neo in the Matrix dodging anything. Like, it's just such next level gaslighting. I can't.
This is an ad campaign that promotes hate.
Why does it promote hate? Why? Explain. It's telling the truth. It's factually talking about things that are happening. It's like we are human. Thank you, O'Day, for the super chat. That's funny.
Twist the truth, and that demonizes Israel. Now, let me tell you who is.
How does it demonize Israel? You guys are, it's just talking about the facts. That's literally like being like, talking about what we did in Iraq and then banning it and being like, we can't have these billboards up about how we, went into Iraq when there was no justification for it and killed a bunch of people. This is dangerous. Stop demonizing the United States. Wah! Somebody call the ambulance. The ambulance. Like, seriously, this is ridiculous. Talking about the facts is not demonization.
Behind this disgusting ad campaign, it is an organization called the Unity Lab, whose members are heavily.
I love that. She says it's called the Unity Lab, and then she's like, isn't it disgusting? Isn't Unity disgusting? Ew, Unity is disgusting.
Involved in pro-Palestinian activism, fundraising for organizations like UNRWA, the organization whose members actually participated in the October 7th massacre and has been caught funneling aid to Hamas. The Unity Lab has raised.
Have you noticed there's never any video of that? Ever? Bueller? Have you guys noticed that? There's never any video evidence for that. Never. Even though we see video of all the stuff all the time. Yes, this is next level Hamas lighting. Because they always say, oh, they're funneling aid to Hamas. Where? Where's the video? Hey, I'm still waiting on the video for that Hamas command and control center under Al-Shifa Hospital. It's literally not a thing. They're making it up just like they made up the thing about Al-Shifa Hospital. And the UNRWA thing was already debunked. Someone said, how are history books going to be written about this time? Like, how? No, I know. You know what? There's going to have to be a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. Like, people are going to have to fight to make sure that the truth gets recorded. Because if it was up to them, it would just be all the lies and all the propaganda just like put in a history book. Yeah, I actually love how embarrassing this music is.
Thousands of dollars for campaigns like this one.
I also like how she's talking about how hateful it is. How hateful it is that this is what I mean when I say that it's next level Hamas lighting. Next level Hamas lighting. It's upside down world gaslighting. She's calling a billboard that says "Save Gaza, ceasefire for the kids" is hateful. I'm sorry. How is that not insane? How is that not insane? Ceasefire for the kids. Stop bombing the children. Save the children is the most milquetoast, anodyne, inoffensive thing a human being could literally say. Literally. But she's calling that hateful. Have you guys ever seen those commercials for Save the Children? And they do Save the Children commercials for children all over the world that are like in Sudan, that are suffering from malnutrition, children in Yemen, children in Ukraine that are poor and hungry. That never a problem. Never a problem. Nobody has ever had a problem with Save the Children until it's Palestine. Then all of a sudden saying save the children, ceasefire for the kids, and save Gaza, to them, that's hate. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's so embarrassing. It really is so embarrassing. Document the genocide. Said they doxed me for calling them baby killers. Hey, if it makes you feel any better, document the genocide. They doxed me too. I got doxed by somebody who works for the Israeli embassy. Did I miss a comment? Hey, Cal.
Demonize Israel under the guise of ceasefire and peace. They don't
under the guise of, see, I like how she made bunny ears. She didn't even do she didn't actually even do scare quotes. She did like bunny ears. Under the guise of ceasefire and peace. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. Also, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that telling the truth to you is demonization. Honestly, this is how deranged this is. I would never say that about somebody talking about how messed up the US is, because we are. I would never say that. I wouldn't be like, stop demonizing the United States. People will be like, fuck the United States. The United States is a terrorist state. The United States is a colonizing state that goes all over the world and kills people all over the world and starts wars and has military bases all over the world. It's an empire of blood-soaked policies and things that they do all over the globe. And I'm like, yeah, where's the lie? Like the fact that they cry all the time, stop demonizing Israel, then stop killing Palestinians. Stop killing Palestinians. Stop demonizing. The truth is not demonization, ma'am. The truth is not demonization. Telling the truth about what you're doing is not demonization. OMG.
don't want peace. They want to erase Israel. The Unity Lab, through its Billboards for Palestine initiative, has taken over our public spaces with their blatant lies, trying to make us believe that defending ourselves is an act of aggression. It's terrifying to see these massive ads playing in the heart of...
This is so embarrassing. It's terrifying us to see, for them to say that defending ourselves is an act of aggression. More gaslighting. More insane gaslighting. This is not defense. And if you're saying, anybody saying it's defense is literally either stupid and doesn't know what the word defense means, or they're just lying. defending ourselves is defense. You're not defending yourself. This is not defense. You can't defend yourself against an unarmed population that literally has no control over their own society, their own borders. They don't have a military. They don't have a navy. They don't have anything. They live under your thumb, under your brutal occupation and genocide. And then you talk about that you're defending yourselves? Nah. That is an insane lie. Insane lie.
Of our cities, pushing the false narrative that American tax dollars are going to bomb children.
That's literally a fact. That's literally a fact. What do you mean? Pushing the false narrative that American tax dollars are going to bomb children. That's actually literally happening. Factually happening. When you go to work, you get taxed from your paycheck, and then your taxes go to the Pentagon, and the Pentagon gives contracts to to weapons manufacturers, and we get the Israeli regime buys weapons from the United States that get dropped on Gaza. There are literally people in Gaza who have shared videos where they found scraps of shrapnel that had like the US company on it that was bombing them. Yeah, that's literally what happens. How does this woman not know how taxes work? Oh my gosh.
Well, here's the truth. Our tax dollars are helping keep Israeli children safe from terrorists who use their own people as human shields. And these...
You guys are still using the human shields routine? I thought that we were done with that. I thought we'd moved past this. I thought we were done with the BS lie and the scam and the hoax of the human shields. Of course she's lying. The whole human shields thing is not only a hoax, but it's also another example of every accusation is a confession. Every accusation is a confession. They use Palestinians as human shields. So every accusation is a confession. And yeah, Palestinians do not do that. Protecting them. Protecting Israeli children from terrorists. It's like, no, that's not what's happening. Number one, you're lying. They don't use children or anybody as human shields. That's what you guys do. So it's projection as usual. And number two, yeah, we do give you defensive capabilities like we pay for Iron Dome, but most of the money is going to offensive weapons. Like, this is what I want to know. Do they think that this is like still working? Like, do they not realize that like we all have phones? We all have phones. It also came out recently that it was confirmed that the IOF were the ones that fired at their own citizens on October 7th. That's already been fact-checked. That fact actually came out shortly after October 7th, but the media buried it. And then it came out, it was confirmed again recently. Yeah, when are you not lying? I just am wondering who they think that this is working on, because this is very, very tired rhetoric that well, actually, I shouldn't say it doesn't work on anyone. There are obviously a lot of stupid people and a lot of, not even if they're not stupid, a lot of uninformed people that don't understand this is a lie, which is why we have to keep pushing back on it, because it's a joke. It's a joke. Everything she is saying here are Zionist propaganda talking points that have literally been put in writing for them to repeat. Frank Luntz, the pollster here, he actually wrote a memo for them, for the Israeli regime, as how to market and do propaganda for them. And all those talking points are in there. Oh, say it's about terrorism and not territory. Say it's about that they use human shields. Like, just come up with any of these lies and just repeat them over and over and over and over and over again.
Ad campaigns, they are not about helping innocent Palestinians. They are about defaming Israel and empowering Hamas. It's time to call out the true agenda of this anti-Israel, anti-Jewish campaign. This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on every Jew in New York City. We cannot stay silent while this hate spreads in our streets. This is horrific.
I like how she runs off. She's like, this is horrific. And just like walks off screen. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Also, to say that those billboards and telling the truth about what the Israeli regime is doing is an attack on Jewish people in New York City is actually kind of anti-Semitic. No. Why are you associating every Jewish person in the world or every Jewish person in New York City with the Israeli regime? Oh, yeah, that too, Fuwa-chan. Them always saying it's a religious thing. Yeah, that's something that I heard a lot too. It's crazy the degree of gaslighting. Nah, I watched those elderly women and children were in a tent. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, yeah, Naimi. Yeah, they do. They spend so much money on propaganda. So much. It's insane. Billions. Yeah, on research, think tanks, troll farms. Like, it's actually insane when you think about it. In our elections, they spend, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars on our elections. But our media wants to talk about Russian interference, Lamau. Like actual Lamau. Yeah, there is a huge anti-Zionist Jewish movement in New York. A lot of people I know who live in New York City who are Jewish are anti-Zionist. So I don't think they're going to fall for that. Wow, that was so embarrassing. That was so embarrassing. That was so cringe. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was next level Hasbara. All right, let's talk about that was fun. That was so embarrassing. But let's talk about what they're doing on college campuses. They are trying the Noguchi Museum in New York City has terminated 3 gallery attendants who said they would not comply with a controversial new rule banning staff from wearing keffiyehs and headscarves, or keffiyeh headscarves. Wow. All right, I guess we know who to boycott. Oh, yeah. What happened? There was that video of that embarrassing guy attacking. Oh, we might not have time to get to it today, but there was that embarrassing guy that was attacking some employee at like a library for wearing a keffiyeh. It was so embarrassing. Yeah, ban that museum. Ban that museum. Boycott that museum is what I mean. Is what I meant to say. All right, I just wanted to find the one about the colleges. I thought... Go away, ad. Okay. Family, school staff calling NYC to ban Keffiyeh. It's a symbol of hate. Again, it's actually like, it's insane that they get to dehumanize others under the guise of their safety. In the 1990s, Hamas leader, the Ahmed Yassin, said that we don't fight because they are Jews. Even if Muslims came to occupy us, we'll fight. Exactly. And you know what's funny about that, O'Day, which, by the way, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everybody who helps, with this channel, who will donate super chats, become members, donate to my Venmo, become a member on Cofia, any of that stuff. I appreciate you so much. And O'Day, you're always so generous. I like that you pointed that out because that's every single time I read something from the resistance, it is always about occupation, which is probably one of the reasons why they don't ever really let them talk on TV. Like you rarely see them interviewed in Western media or ever see them talk to. Like occasionally, like Vice, which is like a Western media company, an American company, they did a report where they let them talk. But for the most part, they don't let them talk because when you listen to them talk, you're like, wait, what are they saying? They're saying that it's about occupation, that it doesn't have anything to do with like religion. It doesn't have anything to do with, Judaism. It doesn't have anything to do with ethnicity. It has everything to do with the fact that Palestine has been being occupied for 76 years and living under this brutal occupation. And every year the occupation gets more and more brutal and they crack down more and more and take more of the land, and Palestinians deal with even more violence. So that's a really good point. Also, okay, so back to the call to ban the Keffiyeh. The thing that's insane about this is how they dehumanize Palestinians by claiming that Palestinian existence is threatening to them and hateful to them. Like, imagine if it was reversed. Imagine if you said that wearing a cross or a Star of David was hate. So you're not allowed to wear a cross or a Star of David because that's hate. Or banning a MAGA hat, which could be argued as hateful, but we also have a First Amendment, so I wouldn't be in favor of that anyway. First of all, we're supposed to have free speech. And I know that there are private colleges for the most part, but in private companies, but the claim that wearing a keffiyeh is hateful is actually racist, because what you're saying is their existence is hate. Because the keffiyeh is a symbol of Palestinian struggle. It's a symbol of Palestinian struggle and their resistance and their resilience. Speaking of which, it's a symbol of Palestinian resistance, Palestinian freedom, Palestinian struggle for freedom. So by claiming that it's hateful, what you're doing is you are dehumanizing and depersoning Palestinians as a people. Sounds to me like you're calling for Palestinians not to exist. sounds to me like you're calling for Palestinians not to exist, which sounds a little racist, sounds a little Islamophobic. But like I said, everything is upside down world. Literally, everything is upside down world. They claim that Palestinians existing, they claim that Palestinians' existence and that being Palestinian as a matter of existing and wearing a symbol of your existence and your struggle and your resistance, that's hate. Like, we see you. We see you. I swear I'm going to start wearing it as... I know. I actually try to wear it as often as possible when I go out because I want to show people that I want to normalize it as much as possible. Thank you, Marvin, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Appreciate your commentary, your genuine truth. Thank you. Okay, so some Jewish students, parents, and staffers are demanding the city ban Middle Eastern scarves in NYC public schools. They shouldn't be able to do that in a public school. It's one thing to do it in a private school. If they try to do it in a public school, I hope that someone sues them. We need some lawyers. Oh, thank you for the super sticker, Alcides. Alcides, thank you. Yeah, I hope that there are some lawyers that are following this that sue them on First Amendment grounds. You can't ban a scarf from a public school, a publicly funded school. My tax dollars go to NYC public schools, and I don't even have kids. Well, my dogs, my boys. Yeah, I would encourage everybody to have a keffiyeh. If you don't have a keffiyeh, you should get one and you should wear it as often as you can. Bad lefty. Yeah, it is. It is a First Amendment violation. That's why I'm saying I hope somebody would sue. Because that's, yeah. Members of a group of New York United in fighting anti-Semitism. Somebody look into that group and find out who they are. Because a lot of these groups are not even American. A lot of these like dark money groups are not even American, or they're just right-wingers. Sent an email to Mayor Adams and Chancellor David Banks, United Federation of Teachers President Michael McGrew, to ban the keffiyeh, which they said is intimidating and frightening. The keffiyehs worn in the school and at school events are not merely a cultural garment. They have been adopted as symbols in response to the slaughter of Jews on October 7th, the advocates claimed in the email. Yeah, that's just a lie. It's amazing how they can never tell the truth about their views. They can never just tell the truth about their views. Like, just be honest about it. Just be honest about it. They're not being honest about it. They're just lying. The symbol is prominently displayed at protests where chants, slogans, signs to openly call for the death of Israel and Jews, they said in the black and white checkered scarves, which have become a uniform face covering for left-wing radicals at pro-Palestine demonstrations. Again, this is so racist. Just as swastikas, historic symbol of peace, was co-opted by the Nazis, the traditional Arab scarf, despite its cultural roots, has now been adopted by the groups that promote violence. Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. Again, it's just racist. By comparing it to the swastika, that's literal just like racism. You're just being racist toward Palestinians and Arabs. Why don't they consider Arabs and Palestinians Semites? Because they're racist. Thank you for the super chat, Naimit. Exactly. That is such a good point. They want your entire identity to be called terrorism, which is what they're attempting to do. All over. All over. They're attempting to equate the identity of the Palestinian as being equated with terrorism so that they can basically legislate you out of existence. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put it into law and to legislate that the Keffiyeh is a symbol of Nazism, or that it's anti-Semitic, or that it's this, or that it's that, or that criticizing the Israeli regime is promoting it or anti-Semitic. They're doing that because they want talking about Palestine and they want acknowledging the existence and the humanity of the Palestinians to be equated with terrorism so that they can shut it down. Because obviously, what's terrorism? It's illegal. So if you can equate Palestinian existence with terrorism, you can make being Palestinian or talking about Palestine or wearing a keffiyeh or even acknowledging the humanity of the Palestinians, you can make it illegal. That's what they're doing. That's what they're attempting to do. It's really not just insidious, it's insidious, but it's also insane. Oh, that's it. That was it. Brooklyn's paraprofessional James Parra, who was eventually fired from PS 414, sparked outrage last year after posting an Instagram wearing a keffiyeh. The city Department of Education's dress code specifically allows for headwear worn for religious observance as well as headscarves. It prohibits attire that includes references that discriminate on the basis of race, color, creed, religion, religious practices, ethnicity, national origin, or other characteristics. Yeah, which it doesn't. It falls in the first category. It's worn for as a headscarf for either religious observance and or the existence and the freedom and liberation and struggle of the Palestinians. Again, they're trying to legislate them out of existence here. Any mention of them. They want to legislate their identity out of existence and make it illegal to talk about their identity. We're also committed to providing supportive and inclusive learning environments while protecting First Amendment rights. DOE spokesperson Nathaniel Sire told the Post, "Sure, Jan. If there's a complaint, we assess it on a case-by-case basis and determine next steps based on the facts." You know what's such horseshit about this, too? Is that what's such bullshit is that they have what's such bullshit about it too is that they fired someone, a teacher or somebody that works for the DOE for wearing a keffiyeh when it just shows what a assault that there is on Palestinians and freedom of speech in this country on behalf of the Israeli regime, because it's actually not easy to get fired from being a teacher in this country because of the unions, thankfully. Because of the unions being pretty strong in New York City, which is great. I'm very pro-union. It's not that easy to fire a teacher. So the fact that they were able to fire a teacher over that is really just shows you. It shows you the power of their lobby, of the Zionist Israeli lobby. It shows you the power that they have, that they were able to get that teacher fired. But it is very much unconstitutional. It is racist. It's Islamophobic. It's anti-Palestinian. And I hope someone sues. Like, someone needs to sue. This needs to be sued. Like, people need to get sued over this. Bingo. Thank you for the super chat, Naimit. Unions are weak as hell in Wisconsin. But yeah, man with the long last name, that is something that also happened over time. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, this is what I mean when I say, like, we have to look at the long game like the right wing looks at the long game. So many people don't want to look at the long game. They just want to be like, let me vote and go back to sleep. I'm just going to vote for Jill Stein and go back to sleep. I'm just going to vote for Kamala Harris and go back to sleep. Republicans play the long game. And the assault on unions in Wisconsin, if you actually like look into the history, I'm sure you know it because you live there, but I'm speaking generally to people. That assault was over time. Like, Scott Walker, who was the governor of Wisconsin, he got elected. He was bought and paid for by all big business. They implemented right to work laws, which again, they always do like the opposite of what the law is called. So the law was actually just like an assault on workers, and they decimated unions. And they did a ton of gerrymandering in Wisconsin, so it would make it really hard to fight back. Yep. Exactly what I just said. Hold on a sec, guys. I got to grab my water. I have so not had enough water today. Whew. Wait, is my chat not working again? There was a pop-up group called the Radicals. Ear sludge. I love wearing my Keffiyeh in New York, in New England based grocery store. I get some nasty looks. That's funny. What happened in Wisconsin, you guys, is such a perfect example of why voting does matter and why you should be voting up and down your ballot. Because again, a lot of this stuff happens over time. And Wisconsin is such a great example of that. The way that the right wing systematically gerrymandered it, did voter suppression over time, so that because Wisconsin's a swing state, the way they decimated workers' rights and implemented all those draconian right to work laws, like those things happened over time. And a lot of it had to do with people not voting in midterms or down ballot. D. Jenny Abel, $2. Oh, that's really sweet, Jenny. That's really sweet. But I appreciate that so much. But definitely don't give money that you don't have. I try, I obviously appreciate so much all the people that support my work. Become members on YouTube, become members on Ko-Fi, donate to my Venmo, give super chats, whatever the case may be. I appreciate it so much. But like, if you don't have the money, I don't ever want you to feel like don't spend money that you don't have, obviously. Like I get not having money. That's literally me my whole life. Like I'm like, my back hurts from like sitting in this really uncomfortable chair. But thank you. I appreciate it. I feel so old. Yeah, tell me about it. My back is hurting so bad from sitting in this stupid chair. Also, you can subscribe to my YouTube, which is free. Is Bibi planning an October surprise invasion to Lebanon? Bro, that guy should be in jail. Like, seriously. Like, why Netanyahu is not in jail? I need someone to explain. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Bro, if they keep attacking Lebanon. It's actually scary. LOL. That's really sweet, O'Day. That's very kind, O'Day. Thank you. I know, I do need to get a better chair. I need an equipment upgrade eventually. But I really appreciate that, O'Day. You're the best. I have to save for it because I definitely need like a different monitor and I need a chair that doesn't hurt my back so much. And I need to just get a better like mic or whatever so that I can more easily talk into it. But it's not like a huge rush. It'll come with time. I'll save and then I'll set it aside and I'll do it with time. Yeah, look at what our wonderful ambassador, our hack ambassador, Linda Thomas Greenfield, said regarding Palestinian statehood. Okay, so this hack, our UN ambassador, said U.S. ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas Greenfield, says the U.S. will not comply with any ICC warrant or arrest warrant to arrest Netanyahu or Gallant. When questioned about expanded recognition of Palestinian statehood, she said, Palestinians as a group have not met the qualifications for statehood. Oh, really? Oh, really? Is that so? Why is that? Why is that? Why haven't they? This is insane. This is so insane. Also, I never want to hear about the UN again or international law because the US doesn't follow international law. All it does is run cover for the Israeli regime. They're literally the US is just the meme of Abu and Homer. Or is it a poo? Oh yeah, it's a poo. I was thinking of Abu. Okay, where's that meme? Oh, because it's not Homer. Never mind. It's what's his name? What is his what? Because again, exactly, who aren't deserving of statehood, which, first of all, tell me how you feel about this, O'Day, but I think the whole two-state solution thing is just a lie and a joke that the US will tell its citizens so that Americans can feel better or Westerners can feel better, being like, oh, we're going to give them two states. They're going to have their own state. But like, first of all, I don't think the Israeli regime ever meant to give Palestinian statehood. I don't think it was ever the plan. And I think the US knows that. I think that that was always a lie, and that was always the plan, to just take the whole thing. And you can see that, and you can see that it will never work. And you can see it because if you look at the occupied West Bank, they have infiltrated it so thoroughly and built settlements all over it, making it like Swiss cheese. There's no way to, like, even if, let's say, like in an ideal world, the settlers gave all of the occupied West Bank back to the Palestinians, it would be so difficult to actually move, or should I say the Israeli regime gave it back to the Palestinians to move all the settlers out. And they've done that on purpose to make it really hard. Yeah, Net and Google admitted it. Yeah, it's not feasible. So when they say, like Kamala Harris said the other night in the debate, oh, we need a two-state solution, they're just lying. Like, I am convinced that they're just lying, that they're just saying that because it makes Westerners feel like we're working toward the right thing. Oh, we're working toward a two-state solution. Because the thing is that a lot of Westerners, especially a lot of white people, they don't want to see themselves as like being racist toward Palestinians. So they do the tap dance. They're not like openly racist against Palestinians like Israelis are. So they'll try to make themselves feel better by going, yeah, we want a two-state solution so the Palestinians can have their state and the Israelis can have their state. And the West goes, yeah, we're going to create a two-state solution for them, which, again, is something that when I was super uneducated about what is actually happening there, I used to buy. I'd be like, oh, yeah, the West is working on a two-state solution. No, they're not. The Israeli regime never believed in two-state solution, never wanted one. And then I think that the West knows that. I think America knows that. I think that Kamala Harris knows that. Trump knows that. Biden knew that. They all knew it. They just say it to appease Western audiences. But they know it's not going to happen. The fact of the matter is, what they don't talk about is the fact that the Israeli regime openly says they want all of Palestine. They always say, oh, the Palestinians, we can't negotiate with them because of Hamas. But the reality is that there's nothing to negotiate with because the Israeli regime wants all of Palestine. They want all of it. And Trump has promised to give them all of it. Trump told his donor, Miriam Adelson, that he will allow her to annex the West Bank. The occupied West Bank, I will correct myself and say. Yeah, I would have never known that because you always hear the Israeli regime talk about the Palestinian Authority as if they're so scary. Like, oh, they're radicals. They're working with Hamas. But like from every Palestinian I've heard from that lives in Gaza or the occupied West Bank, they say exactly what you're saying, that like the West Bank leaders are hacks, that they're just hacks and puppets, and that they collaborate with the Israeli regime. So I don't know what they're talking about. boycotting is good. Okay. Boycotting definitely does work. It just has to be targeted. Like, you need to do targeted boycotts. Otherwise, they don't work. That's why you should go off the BDS list and not just what like people on TikTok or Twitter are saying. Yeah, so she's lying. Okay. Lies, more lies from the US. Also, again, a two-state solution is not going to work. It's just not going to work. Thank you for your support of Palestine. I appreciate it. Of course. I'm reading this. Borders. Wait, Thayman1X. You said there are 4 main issues Palestinians request that they refuse to negotiate with. If they implement UN resolutions. Right, but what I'm saying is that there's no way to implement those UN resolutions of the 67 borders because they have thoroughly, basically peppered themselves all over the occupied West Bank. And they did that on purpose to make it impossible. Also, I never understood, and I still haven't gotten an answer to this. I haven't probably learned enough about it. Why the UN split or partitioned Palestine the way that it did in such like a haphazard way. Like, I know this probably sounds stupid or ignorant, but why, if you were going to give more than half of Palestine to the Israelis, why wouldn't the Israeli regime, the Europeans that came over, why wouldn't you just cut it in half down the middle? Like, why not just cut it in half? Why did they do that thing where they gave like a little piece and then they had like a little piece in the occupied West Bank? Hold on, I want to look that up. Map of Policy Forum. Yikes, this is a propaganda website. Isn't it? Hold on. Is it? Okay, I'm going to go to a different website. But first, I like how it says, for a secure Jewish democratic Israel. That is literally contradicting to each other. Oh, the screen is not showing the thing I opened. Sorry, the screen's not showing it. Because the software that I use is only, and because I don't have a monitor, it's only letting me like open one at a time. But this white website says, for a secure Jewish democratic state. You cannot be a religious state and a democracy at the same time. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. You're either a religious ethno state or you're a democracy. You cannot be both. Okay. Palestine map through the years. Palestine map through the years. Okay, yeah, but first, as you guys can see, even from this screen, look at how they have just they're all over the place. It would be impossible to like split that now, even though it's insane that there's any green here. Because according to the international law, this is supposed to be Palestinian territory. So why you here? Get off my lawn. Yeah, bro, this is insane. This is crazy. And if you look, it just now has all these little holes in it. It has all these little holes in it now. Well, ironically, the UN and like a lot of international law was formed after World War II as a way to supposedly stop anything like that from ever happening again. Not just the Holocaust, but the way that like the atrocities that happened in World War II. That's what's ironic, because what was formed as a response to the brutality of World War II is now being ignored by the people that say that, you know, we needed international law to protect minority groups, that we needed international law to protect minority groups from that kind of brutality. And now that same group is committing atrocities against another population while also ignoring international law that they said they needed. Yeah, this is so crazy. Yeah, so tell me, how are you supposed to make this 2 states? Wait. Like, explain. How are you supposed to make that 2 states? Yeah, that's the point. You're not. You're not. But again, what I was like actually wondering in the first place was, why did the UN initially, because this was obviously Palestine before they were before 1948, before they were massacred and Nakba'd and kicked out of their land. And then the UN created a partition plan to quote unquote split it up. But what I'm trying to understand is, why did they even do it like this? Like, why did they do it in this weird way? Like, why not just cut it in half, like split it here? Yeah, and they're doing this once again because they want all of it. The 2-state solution thing was always a lie. The 2-state solution thing was always BS. They're doing this because they want all of it. They want this whole thing to be white, figuratively and literally. And imagine Palestinian Authority on their borders having an actual military. Yeah, exactly, O'Day. Exactly. Which is crazy, because as autonomous people, you should. You should. If you were to have a 2-state solution, then it would only be fair and just for the Palestinians to have their own military, their own airport, their own borders. Like, this is crazy that like this is even controversial to say, because in America, we would never accept that. You know how Kamala Harris loves to go, Israel has the right to defend itself. We would. Yeah, I know. You know what else we would do? We would never accept not allowing our population to have arms. This is the country of the Second Amendment. This is the country of don't tread on me. This is the country that doesn't even do anything when its children get massacred in schools because how much we love our guns. We're all about property rights in the United States. Don't trespass. I'm armed, the Second Amendment. And yet, we're also a country that, especially right now, is hysterical about our borders. Hysterical about our borders. As you can see in the arguments that we're having around the election and around the border, Americans are hysterical around their borders. But the Palestinians can't have their own borders? Why? If we're doing it from like an American point of view, the Palestinians should be able to have full autonomy, full autonomous borders. They should be able to have their own military, their own navy, their own airports. They should have everything that a nation state has. If we're going based on international law, humanity, and the international way that we conduct nation states, they should get all of those things too. So why don't they have them? So when she says Israel has a right to defend itself, we would. Well, Palestinians have a right to have a military, and they have a right to have borders, and they have a right to have an autonomous government. We do. Man with the long last name, the Panthers writes, well, they didn't accept letting the Black Panthers have arms. All of a sudden, 2A was a threat. That's the only time it happened, man with the long last name. That's the only time it happened. People sometimes jokingly say, but I actually think it's true, that if America really wanted gun control, we would be encouraging every Black person and every person of color to get a firearm. That like if people who are funding initiatives for gun control really want gun control, they need to make sure that every person of color in this country is armed, and then we'll get it. And honestly, they're probably right. That is probably the only thing that would change it. Because it is the only time. That's how like the whole assault weapons ban in California happened in the first place, was because Reagan banned it so that the Black Panthers couldn't have it. Right, and that's also another thing, which I've talked about before too. The NRA didn't defend when Philando Castile was killed by the police, even though he had a registration for his firearm. He was registered, he was licensed to carry. And yet all of a sudden, when he was killed by the police, all the Second Amendment people just disappeared. Where was the NRA? Where were all the Second Amendment folk to defend him? Same thing with Breonna Taylor. When Breonna Taylor was killed, her boyfriend was firing at the door because somebody invaded his house. All of a sudden, where's the Second Amendment people? You guys got real quiet when it came to his Second Amendment rights and his right to property. Because the right and the gun owners here love the property thing. We have our firearms for our property. Well, that's what he was doing. He was defending his property and his girlfriend. But all of a sudden, all the Second Amendment people and the private property people don't have anything to say when it was a Black American. Sorry to say this, but human rights are for humans and they don't see Palestinians as fully human. Exactly. Of course. But that's why we have to keep fighting for them. That is why I don't care where you are in the world, whether you are an American citizen, whether you live in the UK, whether you live in Egypt, whatever. We all have to keep fighting for the Palestinians because they, at the very basic level of this fight, is the fact that Palestinians are not treated like humans. They are not being treated as human beings. They are not being given dignity and basic human rights. Basic human rights. They're being treated as other. And like I said earlier in the video about banning the Keffiyeh, that is meant to legalize the dehumanization of Palestinians, to put it into law here. That's what is happening. They dehumanize Palestinians in their rhetoric. They dehumanize Palestinians in their policies. And now here in the United States and in the UK and in Canada, they want to ban the Keffiyeh because they want to delegitimize not only the struggle of the Palestinians, but they want to delegitimize their existence and dehumanize them further. So we have to keep fighting. We have to all keep fighting and standing up for Palestinians. Like if you see that kind of stuff happening in your city, like we all need to be fighting against it. I'm actually going to look in to the laws that they're trying to pass more in New York to see what I can do to fight back against it, because that's insane. Like we all have to fight back, because at the very end of the day, this is a story about a besieged population that is under constant attack, that we need to stand up for them, because they have no way to get out of this prison that they've been put in. And you either believe in human rights or you don't. For all people. Yeah, and that's also why they work so hard to try to make it illegal, BDS illegal. Because boycotts, work, and they don't want it to spread. Abby Martin, I actually think, took someone to court for trying to ban BDS, and she won. But again, guys, that is going back to my very original point at the very beginning of this stream. It's going to be a constant, long fight. Like, I think that, people think that it's just going to be something that can happen overnight or in a single election. It's not. It's going to be a fight. It's going to have to be something that we do all the time, like going forward. To me, people are really hung up on the election. They're really hung up on fighting with me over the election. But the election is just one piece. The election is just one piece. This whole fight, whether it's fights for Palestinian liberation of people around the world, even liberation and fighting for my own fellow citizens here in New York and in the United States, it is not just a one-time thing of going to vote. It's voting, yes, but not just for president. It's voting for your governor, voting down ballot, reading in and educating yourself on the initiatives, the ballot initiatives, voting for those, and getting involved in local politics in your local community and fighting on the ground. It's all of those things. Yeah, Abby is really, really great. I've learned a lot from Abby. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I have to go cook for my husband. Anyway, yeah, really, Joe said we need an anti-Zionist party. True. Anyway, this was great. I always have fun with you guys. What am I cooking? I don't know yet. I might try. I can't make gumbo. I want to make gumbo, but I have to wait for the Cajun seasoning, the spicy Cajun seasoning that I ordered offline to come. If you're not already in the Discord, join the Discord. Yes, but Thursdays. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you guys, if you're in my YouTube chat, first of all, don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and hit the bell, because they're always trying to suppress me here, okay? So they don't tell you when I'm live. But yes, exactly, May. I am a trad they. True. True. I'm a trad spouse. But also, I put that the poll. I put the poll in my YouTube community tab for you guys to vote on the poll of what days you guys think I should pick for my actual schedule, for my live schedule, because I want to be consistent. It's been hard for me to be consistent because I've gone out of town so much recently, but I want to be consistent. So I put the poll in there in my YouTube community chat. So vote on the poll, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and join the Discord just so that I can give you guys updates, you know, or whatever, just so that we can also hang out. And also, thank you. I want to say thank you for everybody who has donated a super chat to this stream, who donates, you know, in general, people who've donated to my Venmo to support my work, people who become members on Ko-Fi. You can also become a member on Ko-Fi. It's like Patreon. People who become members on YouTube, and people who just like support what I do in general. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys help me not only be able to support the work that I'm doing, but also you help keep me going with your comments and your funny comments and just like your support, because it can be mentally draining being attacked all day, every day. So like having you guys there to make me laugh and stuff also helps. It helps keep my spirit up. Thanks, Jaya. Well, if we wanted to start a new party, again, all the things we got to do are going to be a lot of down ballot work. Like, if you're not familiar with ranked choice voting, get yourself involved with ranked choice voting initiatives. Because again, this election is not going to break the duopoly. This is work that we have to do consistently. And one of those things, the two-party system, like everything else I've said here, is something that happened over time. We have to like consistently work at it if we want to break this duopoly, which we do need to, because basically we live under one party rule, and that needs to change. But it all starts with educating ourselves, folks. All right, everybody. I love you. I love you all. Free Palestine. And I will see you on either Tuesday or Monday, depending on which one you guys pick the poll for. Can you do a live just talk together in the... Wait. Can you do a live just to talk together in the chat? No politics if you want. You know what, Fua? Thank you for bringing that up, because I also forgot to say that starting soon, I haven't picked a day yet. I want you guys to help me pick the day. I'm going to start doing a monthly live stream that's only going to be for members, where we don't have to talk about anything in particular. We can just like talk about whatever. Like, I'll do a stream where we'll just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And it will be for like YouTube members and like Ko-Fi members. So thank you for reminding me of that. I'll create a poll to see what day would be good that I'll do once a month, and it'll be like a 2-hour stream for us just like hanging out, the members. All right, guys, but let me know. I'll create that poll for the members, and also let me know what you guys think about which days I should regularly go live. All right, everybody. I love you. Free Palestine.